if you're successful 30% of the time, and you've been at this 2 years working hard at it, that's probably your bag. That's probably your skill set, 30% winner. And you have to make that work, all right? It's like, you know, you look at golfers on the PGA Tour. Not all of them blister the ball 330 yards off the tee. Okay, some of them are good wedge players. Others of them are good putters. Some of them have the complete package, and the Rory McIlroy just signed a deal with Nike for $250 million. Okay, but the bottom line is they're all making money on the PGA Tour with different swings and different skill sets. Okay, point being that you're going to get to the point where you're just maxed out on how good you are. Alright? No matter how much experience you have, no matter how hard you've worked at it. So how can you make more money in Forex? And the answer to that is, if you're going to have, if your win-loss looks like this, right? For one, the order, and I've spoken about this before, the order in which your wins and losses happen is, and if we have time at the end of this, we'll look at some charts and stuff. I don't know how many of you listen to me in NFP, but that little yen we talked about and the Aussie sort of coming to fruition right now. But anyway, if one of the truest things in trading is, let's say that you are a 40% winning trade, and I'm discounting break evens here, but you don't know in which order that's going to come, right? So you might go win, win, loss, 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 win, win, loss, loss, loss out of 10. So you're winning 40% of the time. Then the next time you're going to go loss, win, win, loss, 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 win, loss, blah, 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 etc. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, loss, win, etc., etc., etc. So point being that if you're cherry picking trades, inevitably Murphy being Murphy, you're going to pick these trades, aren't you? All right. That's why it's important that you continue to take your edges and not try and cherry pick what you've got. It's a slightly unrelated subject, but I'm getting to a point. Okay, so my point being that if you've taken 200 trades and you win 30 to 40% of the time, that's probably as many pips as you're going to make on a consistent basis, make or lose. Okay, so how can you go, and inevitably what happens is, this sort of thing happens, and just in the trading development side of things. Okay, right, so when you start, you go number 1, rank loser. The loser. Okay, loser. Alright, I'm going to get to it in a sec, Jack. Alright, rank loser. But you are studying a ton of stuff. Alright, this is you brand new on the market, fresh off the boat, studying your tail off, trying to get a feel for things. Alright, exploring every analyst, no stone unturned. But you cannot buy a trade. Alright, even if somebody said to you, buy here and sell there, and it did exactly that, you would still botch it. Alright, number 2. Right, so then this heads to making a bunch and losing a bunch. In other words, you start to get the hang of things, but you don't really know what's making you money and what's not. So after about 6 months, you're making a ton of pips, but you're giving them all back. Okay? You're spinning your wheels. So then you start to say, well, this isn't sustainable. So what do? You go and all of it. Now from there, stage 3 is I'm going to trade less and make less, and I'm going to lose less. So the volatility of your trading slows down. You become a little more choosy, a little more picky. And you start to get an idea for what's working for you and what's not. Okay? Now the problem is that it's very difficult to get out of this stage. Who can speak to this? You're spinning your wheels stage, where you're making money, but you're giving it back, and you're making it, and you're giving it back, and you want to bang your head against the wall for months and months and months and months and months and months and months. And you might have a month where you make 100 pips, and then your next month you give back 50. And your little $2,000 account fluctuates between $1,850 and $2,100 for about 6 months, and then you realize, look, something has to give. So what happens? You make the classic error. You make the classic error, and you go back and you look for another trading strategy. You're like, well, this strategy is not working, I need a new one. And off you go back to the start, and you start finding the next hot, greatest thing. You've now made a catastrophic mistake. You've now put yourself back another year. Okay? The only thing that has to change here in step 3 is how you handle your trades. Okay? How you handle your trades. And I'm talking about, obviously, cutting your losers as quick as you can. And I say as quick as you can because you are a human being and you're going to make a judgment call. And you're not always going to be right. You can only do the best you can. Okay, however, how you handle your winners is, to me, what's going to elevate you, right? Then you're going to go from here to, I'll make about 15 pips a day. Okay, and then ultimately, how you handle your winners subsequent to that is going to be the difference. So that's what I want to talk about today. Yes, I just took the better part of 15 minutes telling you why we okay. Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Mike. Okay, so I think it's important to realize when you're in the stage 3 that it's time now to not worry so much about your methodology. It's time now to knuckle down on your management of your positions you have. Right? It's like your team has said, stop looking for new players. All right? It's time to coach the ones you have. You know, it's like grass always looks greener on the other side of the fence, and then you go on the other side of the fence, you're like, well, this isn't that great, and you try to go back. And then the problem is, if you keep going looking for a new methodology, your brain never has an opportunity to settle down and develop a positive association to any one thing you've been trying. So you never really know what's working for you, and then you put on trades and you have no confidence in it, cut them, micromanage, let losers run. Just a bad situation. So if you can, as much as possible, find something that's working for you decently, and then you can start to manipulate the money management. That's what will make you profitable over seeking more consistency and the magic silver bullet.